Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got quite an old school faulting actually. It's an old Mercedes. I say old, it's not really old, but it might be to some people. But anyway, a 203 C-Class. It's come in, he's got a clicking noise behind the dashboard and he's got no air to the driver's side footwell. Winter's coming, can't warm his feet up. It's quite an old school fault this, and it's quite annoying. Somebody wants me.
Here with the black top windows, Neil Tomlinson's just nipped. He said how much you wanted for your C63.
Say hi. Right, where was I? Let me think. So difficult to do these videos. I think I was up to old school job, 203 C-Class, clicking noise behind the dash. It's quite annoying. We've got no air ventilation in the driver's footwell, which is also annoying. And it's quite an expensive job to fix this. It's something a lot of people avoid fixing. They used to decline this job when these were the latest C-Class, when they were, you know, second-hand 20, 30, 40 grand. I remember diagnosing loads and not getting that many. I've actually done my own car. I have a CLK 55 AMG, had the same problem. I had to take the complete dash out to fix it. However, this customer wants this fixing. This is a really nice car, really good customer. It's done 54,000 miles. It's in really good condition, V6 petrol, and he wants it fixing. Why not? There's about, I could be wrong, there's about 10 motors behind the dashboard that control all the flaps, which determine where do you want your air coming out. Do you want it face, feet, screen, both, etc, etc. We've plugged it in on the diagnostics machine. We're only getting a fault for one motor, which is obviously the driver's footwell. I'm not sure how much of the dash we've got to take out to gain access to that one motor. Let's get some parts, let's get it stripped down, and we'll take you on this journey with us. It's an expensive noise, put it that way. Right, we've finally gained access-ish to the motor. 3 of them are really accessible. The one we want to replace isn't. The one we want to replace is right behind that steel bar. I've tried to film the fault happening. So hopefully you can see that. I'll grab some bits and I'll show you what we're going to replace. So we've got a motor for the side that's faulty. We've got a linkage which attaches to the cog, and you can also buy this parts linkage kit, which I would highly recommend. In this kit you just get a bag of bits, and basically we will replace as much as we can on some of the other cogs that aren't faulty whilst we're in there. That kit is well worth having. You could say, why don't you replace all the motors? Well, the £250 each, there's 10 of them, 2.5 grand in motors alone. We're going to be able to do this without removing the top layer of the dash. We've still got the instrument cluster in and the top part of the dash, so that's good. When I had to do my own on my own car, I had to remove everything, and I think I had to replace a total of 3 motors in the end. Again, I used one of these parts kits, replaced as many cogs as I could. So let's try and get this motor out, see what is actually faulty, show you what's faulty, and make sure it's fixed. You want to make sure it's fixed before you put it all back together. So once it's all fitted, you've actually got to resynchronize the motors on the diagnostic so it learns its open and closed position, make sure it's working. Right, we have successfully removed the motor. That is the arm I was on about, which we're also going to replace, but it's the motor that is causing the noise. See that bit of play? Shouldn't be there, it should be solid. We'll get that replaced with the new arm. I've also had to take off the neighbouring motor to get it out. So we're not going to replace the motor on all these, but we are going to replace the cogs, because when these go faulty, it's either the motor or the cog. So these are cheap to repair, so while we're in there, we're going to do as much as we can out of that kit. And also there is another cog which goes into the heater box there. Those teeth can also wear out, so that's another cause. It can be that or that. So we're going to do motor and lever, 2 cogs on each motor that we can see here. But so far so good. You can see that the new lever is slightly modified. It's got a stop on the side, which this one doesn't. And as I explained, the play in that one solid. Right, so we've pulled the old one out, and I don't know if you could see on video, but it is quite hard to turn. This is why it's important to do this while you're in there. And you can see on it, all the grease has gone hard and dry. So we literally dunk that in the grease bucket, put that back in. We've put a new cog on there. We'll also put grease on there. Repeat that process for them all, and then start the teaching process. So just before we put the, bit of a weird angle, and actually get out of the car. So you couldn't really see in the car, but that's the cog that goes in the dash. That's the one that goes on the back of the motor. There's like a key, so that only slots in that key. So when it turns, you're in the right position, so you can't fit it wrong. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're now teaching in all the basic positions of the motors for open and close. Then we can check codes again. Hopefully our fault has gone to stored from current. Then we can test manual operations on the climate control panel. So we weren't getting anything on the right footwell. We'll check that. We'll check feet, face, screen, everything. Then we can reassemble. And it's actually removed the fault itself. The code's completely gone. So it's going home time now. So we'll check that again in the morning, start the car up, check all operations to make sure we're getting air where we're supposed to be. And then the cleaning and the reassembly can commence. There's all the parts that we've took out the dash. It's a new day, by the way. I've changed my jumper. Merch coming soon. Modelling. That's why I'm wearing it. So we've got all the stuff out. As I explained, this is a great opportunity to get everything cleaned, because it's hard to clean some of this stuff when it's in the car. So we'll definitely spend a while cleaning it. You know, even the control panel, all the bits and pieces. The buttons have gone really sticky, so I'll try and get that sticky stuff off as best I can. Centre console, we can clean all that. So that's everything we've had to take out. John's giving the inside a clean. We're going to clean the carpet where the centre console sits because there's some coffee stains and stuff. And then we'll start the reassembly. We've tested everything this morning. We're getting air to everywhere we should be, so we're really happy with that. So I'm quite pleased for this one for the customer. I don't want to say a cheap fix, but it could have been a lot worse because it depends what motor. Because like I say, there's 10 in total. The ones we've done are the easiest ones to do. The others, you've got to keep stripping, keep taking stuff out. You can barely see them. They're really difficult to get to. So get cracking with this lot, put it all back together. So here you can see me on the outside of the car, cleaning everything. As I'm cleaning, John is refitting, so a bit of a joint effort going on here. It's difficult to show you the full process stripping it down, so this time lapse we'll have to do. Again, I'm cleaning the inside of the car before the trims get laid over the top of the carpets. This dash is actually not a bad dash to remove as far as dashboards go. The reason being, as you can see, it comes off in sections, which makes it a lot less scary if you've never taken a dashboard off before. Potentially it could be something, a DIY job as well. You know, you could save yourself a lot of money if you did this yourself. Coming up to the final stages now. As you can see, John's just fitted the centre console, and then we'll move on to the last section. I'm not very good at these voiceovers, so bear with me, we're nearly there. CD player in, coin tray in, wooden dash trim in with climate control unit and switch pack, hazard switch pack, ashtray. It's not really an ashtray anymore, is it? That's probably another coin tray. Final wooden trim for the lever gaiter. Give everything a polish off to finish it. And then we've got the centre vents at the top. And that's it. One final clean and we're all done. Right, that is the 203 C-Class all done. I'm really happy with how this has gone. Glad it wasn't too involved for the customer, because these can be really expensive to do. It was quite a simple one. Obviously we've just done what's required, a couple of while you're in there's, changing the cogs on the other motors. Everything works. We give everything a right good clean before we put it back in. Once it's all back in, we've give it another good clean. There's probably a few disappointed viewers that were hoping for like a DIY guide on this, where it's just been a bit of an overview of what goes on. Well worth doing, I think. 54,000 miles this car's done, 54 and a half, call it 55. Completely original. No more sticky buttons on the climate control switches. Give them a good clean. Top tip with them is a plastic razor blade and just scrape all the sticky stuff off. Just be really patient, just scrape it off and scrape it off, clean, scrape, scrape, clean. It takes a while, but it's worth doing. I bet you're wondering how much that cost. I think I said earlier in the video the motors were 250 quid, the £200, so I got that a bit wrong. Plus the little parts kit you get and the other extra levers. So we've done as much as we can while we're in there without incurring too much cost. Total job for this, parts and labour and VAT, 750 quid. If it was a different motor, it could be different, because you've got to take more dash out. As I explained when I did my own car, it was, I think I spent about £750 in parts and motors because I had to do way more. So it's a difficult one to quote. I think I originally quoted the customer to give him an idea of what it could be. I think I said about £2,000. You know, until we get it in, do some diagnostics, figure out which one's faulty, where is that faulty motor, how easy is it to access. It's difficult. So I said, you know, worst case, you're looking at 2,000. Get back to the garage, give him a bell, tell him it's done. 750. I think he'll be over the moon with that. 4 hours labour, plus the parts, plus the VAT. C-Class 203 V6 M112 engine. If you were buying a 203 back in the day, this is the engine you should have bought. The V6. This actually drives really well. I can see why he loves this car. He's actually a really good customer. He's got an ML55 AMG as well, which has been on the channel before. I hope he's impressed that he's no longer got sticky buttons anyway, because that is so annoying on these cars. So I think that concludes this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hope this was an alright video. I'm not sure how this one's going to come out. And we'll see you on the next one.